Oh, here, I think it's coming. I don't think you guys can see that far away. Check this thing out. It's so freaking cool. That thing's pretty cool.
It's a Ford Ranger. You ever seen a gorilla in a Ford?
You look like you actually fit.
I got plenty of room.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like compared to some of the cars that you tune.
I got a fist and a half.
That's pretty neat.
There's a huge one inside the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I had to charge my laptop up.
Oh.
It got low.
Yeah.
But we're almost there.
Okay. Grandpa was home, so all the kids are with him. He doesn't really have a choice. I said, okay, bye. He just gotten home too, like just cracked his just cracked his beer open.
I don't see
you know?
Kendall over there.
No, little sissy baby. He's not allowed to come and play.
Well, you want to hop out?
Yeah. Are you looking at the bike or the truck?
Huh?
Are you looking at the bike or the truck?
Yeah, you'll be doing that next.
That's a big bitch.
We can jump that. We can't jump the red. You're gonna jump that?
He said, "Ma."
It's got 20-inch crowd shocks.
Look at
You
this.
know, that purple button you tune?
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say,
Same axis.
that's the ones he just broke.
You broke them?
Yeah, we broke them.
You broke them?
Well, he broke them. I tuned it. He's like, God damn, it runs good. We snapped the billet output shaft on the formal leading, and we snapped the billet input shaft, and then it broke.
Oh, as long as you didn't break the axis.
No, then it broke the pinion.
Oh, wow. Well, this is a pinion of 2.5 tons.
Yeah, it broke one. It broke one of those.
It's a little different than that. But
Yeah, he texted me. He was like, God damn. He's like, I think we may have to turn it on more. I was like, why? He's like, it's breaking new shit. I'm like, okay. Whatever you want to do.
see, I was told the 2.5 tons were just unbreakable. So I put them under a different truck, had my 604 in it, really spraying one kit at a time, but the rotating mass was so heavy, ripped the shit out of it. And then upgraded with a bunch of parts, didn't break anything in the axles, and you break everything before it, twist.
You're looking it up, aren't you?
When I was at Elbing,
It broke a 9-ton planetary hub.
yeah, that's the outer.
Yeah, so that's what it broke.
Yeah.
That's what Keith told me.
Well, I hope it
They
don't break.
take theirs to the sand dunes?
No, they do rock climbing.
Oh, rock
They
climbing.
take that thing everywhere.
Yeah.
But it sucks. That thing can be competitive, but those axles are so damn heavy compared to.
Ryan, stand up straight. How tall are you?
6'5".
I'm not saying no.
That's pretty huge.
Megan's about as tall as a tire.
I really am. I'm tender height.
Okay, let's take it from my eye view.
That's what the suspension bottom out. Where I have to be like 4 or 5 inches higher.
That thing's huge.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got it sitting pretty low.
I like the little fish you made over here.
Well, when my buddy spray foamed this place, he always said, that looks like a nose. So he bought eyes off Amazon. They're glow in the dark eyes.
That's creepy.
Does it ever shake the googly eyes?
So then I put my dad's work hat above it because that fucker's always watching.
All the fun stuff in here.
Yeah, this thing's cool.
Yeah, now you read it better.
Yeah, it does. Do your timing from in here.
Yeah. We got I hate
So what do you call this? Like a mega truck?
yeah, somewhat. This
Something?
I tried racing mega trucks, and I know you can relate, but I tried racing mega trucks for a couple years, and it's just too damn expensive. The only place to race it was like 4 to 5 hours away minimum. So you're traveling. It was a Friday, Saturday show. So I'm taking off work Friday, driving all the way down there, race Friday, race Saturday, drive back if you don't break. And it's the guys I was racing against, they had an unlimited budget.
Yeah,
I feel like I could outwork most people, but when it comes to outworking someone's budget, where they're like, for instance, I raced a guy in Texas. He blew his transmission up on Friday, had some $8,000 transmission overnighted to him at the racetrack the next day. I can't fucking do
We had a GTR we raced in Arizona, and he had just got done that big, week-long race, and he went through 3 transmissions. And like
80. That's like 80 grand a pop on the train or something's done.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And he was able to finish the race, but it's like we couldn't do that.
People like us can afford it.
Yeah, that's why I got a big block Chevy, a Turbo 400.
Yeah, same.
So I didn't know if that one was your dad's truck or if this one was your dad's.
No, I wanted to build something that was all my own, that had nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Because the last 3 trucks that I built have all been his.
Right.
I was like, you know what? I need to build something that's just my own.
Fun for you.
So Austin McRae and I, and the other Ford, we decided to drive over some cars. And about the 3rd time over the cars, we got hung up. The transfer case got in between the window and the roof, and we got hung up and ended up smoking reverse. The transmission's fixed, but I haven't really drove it much since.
All the big boy toys.
Yeah.
No, this is just all the kick off, have fun stuff. We couldn't do that in the Firebird.
Yeah.
I mean,
I used to take it through construction zones when it was stock. We go like into like residential development areas, you go off-roading to people's plots and stuff. It was pretty fun.
Well,
long ago.
This pond, well, not really pond now, but whenever it heavily rains, it'll fill up over there. And I had an old military truck that had tractor tires on it like that. We threw together with just random parts we had sitting around. We took it over there and we're driving through 3 foot of water. Cops came, got all pissed off, said we're digging up underground electrical lines, and it was a whole shit show. But we drove around over there for a good 20 minutes before somebody called us in.
Oh, yeah, I gotta get that one out real fast.
Did you fart?
Yeah.
It's gonna stink.
I'll roll the window down. Smells like greasy Lay's potato chips. Sorry.
You act like that little bit is gonna like air it out. It doesn't.
The things you do don't air out quick either. My face hurts.
Police officer's not.
Yeah.
Ow! I tried to bite you, I bit my lip.
That's what you get.
Don't put your finger in my mouth.
You used to do it all the time when I was yawning.
You know, I don't anymore.
Yeah.
My reflexes aren't that fast. I want to Ta! What are you doing?
How about talking about, well, we're not racing. We're not racing this weekend. We're doing some swimming activities.
Yeah.
So we thought it'd be a good time to do a question and answer, a Q&A later.
Yeah.
So, just had a bug at the windshield.
Can't tell, I just washed it.
That's nice.
It does not.
That's nice. So, any fans out there that have questions and want answers, now's your chance. Post them up in the bottom. Just some comments on here, whatever. I've been trying to be better about responding to individual questions on our comments as we can. But
I'm not. I'm a smart ass.
I give like facts or like, you know, like tidbit.
I don't.
Yeah. So yeah, we thought we'd do another question and answer session. So anybody that has questions or they have their opinion they want a response to?
I have a couple questions if you want to answer a couple questions right now.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do another video after this one where we go through and do those. So.
Can you screen the charge pipe to keep the debris out of the motor?
So I thought about that, and on one of my turbo builds on one of my last few trucks ago, I actually had gotten some of those large honeycomb pleats and made a system to put it in there and hold it on there. But with this unit, with as much air as it moves, I probably won't consider anything like that. It has to be pretty small. I'd be concerned of the screen going, and I'd be concerned of whatever's going through the charge pipe would be probably stronger than the screen and take everything with it. So that dent that's in my charge pipe right now, that I compared it with a spark plug, that's that fin when it hit, and that aluminum pipe is 10 gauge. It is almost a full 1/8 of an inch thick, and it protruded up almost 3/8 of an inch. I don't think anything's going to keep it from going through something.
Since you still have AC in ElDorado, have you considered using an interchiller instead of an A2W?
No. I looked into them a while ago, and it's a good idea, but I'd have to insulate everything so that we didn't get condensation drips. So since we'd want to use it on the track, it would be yeah, I think that part would kind of suck. I also don't think, I think that cool air is definitely better in a lot of circumstances, but with E85 I really don't see that much of a difference on the dyno stuff. If we were race gas, or if we were on any kind of gas, I would say yes. But for, my back-to-back testing, for what I'm seeing, roll over, for what I'm seeing with customer cars, usually I will go through a bulk of our dyno tuning without cooling down their water airs for quite a while, and then once we get the tune up really close, we got the plug reads happy with everything else there, I'll ice it down and we'll make another run, and then we may not see any gain. Usually we see a loss there. If we start adding some timing in, we can see a gain, but then we have to rely on a consistent air intake tip for when they're racing it. So most customers opt for the safer option, where we just make it to where it's safe in all conditions versus try and chase every last 15 to 30 horsepower.
It's kicking right now.
Henry is?
Yeah. He said that was enough sugar.
Oh yeah?
In True Street, do you need to have safety equipment like a cage, etc.?
I think you need to have safety equipment anytime your vehicle goes fast enough that it requires it by at least NHRA standards. I think that's a good thing. We've seen some really bad wrecks before in daily driver classes,
Yeah.
that have luckily been not injury,
Not life threatening.
yeah, not critical condition stuff, but we've seen some stuff that definitely could have taken, some lives or major tolls. So yeah, I do think that anytime you have a competition type vehicle, it is important to have that kind of safety equipment in place. I do think there's drawbacks to stuff like ElDorado. I'm big, and ElDorado, once I put the 850 cage in it, my head will be close to a bar, and that does kind of concern me for street driving, because if I ever get into a side impact or something during normal driving without a helmet on, it's gonna rattle my brain. It's gonna hurt. So there's some drawbacks to it. So unfortunately, I think that does take some of the, you still gotta be kind of careful driving it. We don't want to put it in a, you can drive through rush hour traffic all the time. Minimize some of your risk involved.
Aren't you afraid there might be some foreign material underneath the other head?
Nah, not really. That thing is consumes and blows stuff right on out of it. So I'm not too worried about it. We have bore scoped the other side and everything looked okay there. About my biggest concern is if we have impacted a rod or if we've mooshed a bearing. That does kind of bother me, and we might pull the oil pan off before we race next, but I mean, really, there's enough room in those chambers that I don't think it's...
Don't pull up too close behind you.
Well, she's already backed out, so we're good. I'm a little worried about it, but not incredibly worried about it, because I mean, we've consumed impeller blades before, and they just pass right out. And really, you can't even tell the nicks and the pistons. They don't even hardly show it.
Did you ever have the same issues with the fin breakage when running turbos?
Yeah, we have had a couple turbos explode, and it's hard to see the fin in there and go, oh, it'll go out when we fire it back up. But when I have not looked to verify that it was in there and fired the car up, I've seen pieces shoot out with no adverse effects. So yeah, I mean, we've had a fair share of turbo failures and kills and wheel explosions and turbine halves exiting. I mean, it's happened.
Have you ever thought about the mini solar generators?
I thought that was a really good idea.
This would allow the use of more efficient accessories that would run off portable electricity supplied by a mini generator.
I do like that idea.
Something that you would consider looking into?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was cool. Yeah, that way we could run the shop vac when we're hot lapping it, and inevitably it seems like we usually get a slowdown. Like whether it be oil on the track or race surface, something like that, and we're stuck in the lanes for an extra 15 to 45 minutes, and we can get some critical cooling done. So yeah, no, I think that's a great idea.
Do you have anything to say to the people that think that we just kind of band-aid over stuff instead of taking our time to really dig in deep, I guess? And I think people think that you just fix it like a band-aid instead of maybe doing what you need to do to make it like a correct fix.
Well, I mean, this isn't a 200,000 mile car. Yeah, it's a race vehicle. I mean, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be right.
Well, my thought was, I mean, you only have so much time to race. You only have so many times to win. You only have so much time to collect money. And if we have to tear it apart every single time something comes up, then that's wasting time, is what I feel like.
There's always advised repairs that you could do. You know, like, it'd be in my best interest to replace the lifters every time that we lose lash. It's in my best interest to replace the keepers and the valve spring retainer every time we lose lash. And the push rod and the lifter cup. I mean, if we, worst case scenario advisement, replace all these components every time, I mean, I'd be too broke to keep racing.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying that, I'm saying sometimes the risk is worth it. There's not, if I was trying to run this thing at 115% of its potential all the time, I think that'd be a lot more critical. But since we're not usually running it that hard, I don't think it's quite as important. Some of the issues we're having right now, I mean, a lot of them are self-inflicted. You know, like we had the blower. I mean, if we look at H-Town, we go from worst to least issue. You know, the worst issue happened near the end where we consumed the blower. That was an expensive fix. I just got the bill on that, and that hurt.
But would you have, if that would have happened first round, would that have called your, would that have like okay, that's it, put it in the box?
No, we're racing. I put the, I mean, just what we did. We put the 136 on, we changed the gear on it, and off we went. I'm just responding. So last weekend, so yeah, if we go backwards, the blower was the most costly issue. The head repair isn't that bad. It's like $700-800, and I do wish that we would have probably pulled the helicoils out earlier in the year and did at least the key inserts. To be honest, I don't know why we didn't, but they were holding torque fine, so maybe I just didn't have enough key inserts at the time, at the moment. And it was one of those, we're fixing on Thursday and we're leaving Thursday night and we got, a 10-hour drive to cover. And I mean, that's the worst part. I mean, we're always driving. Like, whenever I leave, I look at how many hours we can spend in a hotel in the next 48 hours, and normally that number is less than 6.
I have a question.
What's your question?
No, I just forgot it.
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so I saw a post the other day saying that someone thinks, and this is nothing against the person that said it, so let's just go ahead and clarify. There was a post that was made about how blue-collar guys
can't
keep up with small tire, but I feel like we're blue-collar. I feel like we don't have a multi-million-dollar shop. I feel like we are lucky that we can make our own schedule in order to get to some of these races that are Friday and Saturday. But I also feel like we give it our all. We sacrifice a lot to make it work.
We could have a nice house, property. If we weren't racing, and if I worked the way I work now, I didn't add any extra hours. So I work about 45 to 50 hours a week. If I didn't add any extra hours, and we had no racing, my business may not be as good as it is now, but if it was as equal as it is now, we'd be set up long term.
Yeah.
At this point, we'd be a lot more comfortable. We would have our forever home already. There's a lot of money that gets put in the race project, but none of this stuff happens overnight. If you want to go from somebody that's not in the sport right now and you want to come out running, let's say, tree side, I think back end no prep stuff you can do you got to have a pretty healthy budget, and you got to make a lot of sacrifice, and you're probably gonna need to put a year's worth of wages into your vehicle, minimum. But you could come out the following year and have something that's competitive on backside. I think tree side no prep, when you start getting, let's say, the top 12 competitors in the country in it, those guys either have backers or they're like us, where they are entrepreneurs and they have been in this racing scene for a lot longer than you realize. They've been in it for 10, 15, 20 years.
Right.
And they have accumulated parts, they've accumulated knowledge, they've accumulated, things they do on their own, in order to be able to budget and afford and tweak their combination. Like Elvira. Elvira is one of those cars that we have very little time for right now. And her ETs reflect that. She should be much faster with what it had before. And it can be, but it needs some time to polish that combination. Like that car is crippled by the fact that I've still got Monroe Sensitrax on the back of it in Stockbridge Springs. It doesn't hold very well. I have a shock sensor in the toolbox to go on the back axle so we can see if it's anti-squatting or squatting and how fast the rear end's rebounding in the car, so that I can make the decision, hey, I probably do need to buy shocks. But that's my own laziness. That's my non-dedication to that car right now. And even the race car's got a couple things on it that need to be finished, but I haven't done it because right now we've been kind of playing catch up on motor things. But we've also had sports going on. We've had 2 kids in baseball this whole warm weather season, and I've been trying to make it to as many games as I can. So, but usually they start like at the time I close my doors at the shop, so it's almost like a 30-minute hustle to get over to the game.
So, do you think it just comes down to sacrifices then?
Yeah, it's how much sacrifice you can make. How much sacrifice can you make if you're married, that before your wife decides that you're not worth it anymore? Luckily, Megan's understanding. It's how much sacrifice you have in your kids' life, before they don't remember who you are. It comes down to a lot of that, and like I think even Doug Cook puts it a really good way. He's like, you really should try to spend 1 hour on your project a week, or 1 hour per day on your project every day during the week, and try to accomplish what you can in 1 hour. One focused hour is worth a lot, and that is true. But usually I get about 30 minutes in the morning.
Yeah, you kind of show up early.
Yeah. So luckily I have the ability to have my car at the shop that or at my job, and I'm able to look at it, assess, and go, oh crap, that part's failed, let's get something coming. And then next day or two that part comes in and get it on, and then by that time it's time to put it in the box and leave, because there are so many events that are so advantageous to be there on Friday.
Yeah.
So I mean, just like this next coming weekend is Gangster's Paradise
At Wagler.
Yep. Yeah, in Lyons, Indiana. And it's 64 really badass, fast 2810 cars. And we're going to do a whole shootout Friday, and we're going to do a whole shootout on Saturday. And I mean, I'm a little worried that we might have issues and might get put out Friday, and maybe issues that we can't fix for Saturday, and that kind of sucks. But I mean, I know that I've got a lot of things on the car that are starting to fatigue out. I know my rear gear ratio is starting to fatigue. I know my center section is getting tired. Just the cast aluminum ultra center section in the car. I mean, it's got thousands of runs on it. I know that we're about to hit a time spot on my carbon drive shaft. It's probably going to let go at some point soon. The blower will be fresh, or blowers. Gear drive, the heads will be fresh again. But I mean, we just had the heads out or off the car 18 runs ago. So without foreign contaminants, it would still be fresh. And back to last weekend's kind of cascade of issues, I do think that my first run, we had a lot of tire shake with the new 29.5 11.5W. Never made it past that tire before. And I think we had a little bit too much tire pressure, and we had a shit ton of shake. It shook so hard, and that shake probably started the demise of the blower, and I think is what helped to really rattle, loosen the heads. And then by chasing the head issue and that getting progressively worse throughout the day, and then knowingly this motor is sitting here boom 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 because it's missing a hole. I mean, 100% that's what fucked the blower up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not ProCharger's fault.
No.
So I mean, that gearbox had a lot of runs on it to begin with, because they go through anytime we have a compressor wheel issue, ProCharger busts the whole blower apart. They check everything out. They have a big block Chevy they put every blower on, and then they run those things in for a few runs to make sure that the fluid cycling, there's no excess shedding, there's no tolerance issues, nothing. So I mean, they run every single race unit right there. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they have a big block built just specifically. They've got a ProCharge big block with their ProCharger bracket set up on it that they put every one of these race units on. And they run them, drain the oil out of them, do a quick check on the debris in the oil, and then if it's good, they seal it up, put a tag on it that says no oil, come pick up your unit.
Interesting.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I knew we were probably going to shell something. And we had a lot of laps we needed to make last weekend, but we were going quick enough to keep moving on for most of them until, it wasn't. So that's racing, do what we can to move on. If you gave up every time that,
something inconvenience happened,
then, I mean, you'd be enjoying your spectating a lot sooner. And I wanted to. There's a lot of times last weekend I wanted to give up.
but you have a very supportive team who try and push you to the best that you can possibly be. We all see the potential that you have and know how amazing you are behind the keyboard, or even just behind the wheel in general. I mean, I think if we would have let you give up, we all would have just been like, you know what, yeah, you're right, let's throw in the towel. I think we would have all kicked ourselves about, well, maybe we could have done this, or maybe we could have done that, maybe the outcome would have been different. Like, it would have been just so many what ifs.
Yeah, like once I sent that picture to Tyler, because Tyler was in the motor every single round while I was getting everything cooled down, looking at data, trying to figure out what we could do to fix whatever next issue we got. Tyler was tearing it down, checking everything else out, making sure everything was as good as it could be. And once I sent him the picture of that fin stuck underneath that valve, he's like, there's nothing left we can do.
Right.
He's like, that was the final nail in the coffin. I mean, it was, after that point, we could have knocked the fin out. Hopefully the motor just chunked it out the exhaust side. But with the bent intake valve, we would have now been extremely risking beating the seat out of the head and popping the head of that valve off. And then we would have trashed a lot more. So I've had one valve drop in my career that was really lucky, where we popped the head of the valve off. It hit the piston once, and then it shoved the valve back up sideways into the intake port and got it lodged in there to where I could finish my run. And it put a little hole in the piston from the side the valve went through. Didn't smoke. Just felt like I just had a coil pack unplugged. And it wasn't until I got to stick the bore scope in there we saw the issue. But a lot of people, when you drop a valve, you lose the sleeve, you lose the piston, you lose the valve job, you lose the seat and the head. It gets pretty expensive pretty fast.
It's an expensive hobby in general. I mean, I'm sorry, like, if I look at it from my point, like, say you weren't even involved, or say that you were, but like I was back to working as just my hairstylist job. I was making decent money, but I don't feel like I could build a car off of it.
No.
Like, it would not be a hobby I would be able to get into, I guess is what I'm saying. Because it is very expensive and time consuming and expensive.
I know in 2015, when I was starting to get a lot more serious with it, and I was wanting to get into, I was wanting to hit the street stuff a lot more and be extremely competitive. It was $1,000 to $1,400 a week that I knew I had to pretty much have set aside for repairs.
But this was also at a time where it was just you. It was prior to us being together. It was prior to you becoming a stepdad. It was prior to you becoming the man of the household. It was, I mean, I feel like you started all this stuff prior to what we have now, which I think helps. Like, I think it helped in the long run. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I had a good chunk of the car done, and now it's...
Right, and now it's just we put money in here and there, or, you know, I mean,
right.
When we went Pro Charger, it's not like it was the cheapest
thing
in the world, but again, we made it work.
Right.
But that's not saying that we didn't make sure that we ate at home for 8 weeks whenever we were down from racing after, what was it, Outlaw?
I mean, I was taking all my own lunches.
Yeah, but I mean, again, we were sacrificing. We knew that we had to, because this is where we wanted to go with our program.
Right. Yeah, we knew we needed to try to pinch to make an extra $300 a week.
Right.
In meal savings alone, just to make sure that we could put that towards, you know, getting the car or getting whatever done and get this thing back out there.
Right.
So it's a lifestyle. It's I mean, it's a really big, I mean, it's high up there on your bubbles for important stuff. I mean, you got kids, you got car, you got us after that a lot of times, unfortunately. Yeah. And that's why we try to take the time that we can to get it when we can. You know,
well,
I mean,
I think that's,
like I said, I think what you see in a lot of the top contenders is they are their own bosses.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're a farmer, a business owner, you're in the racing business, I mean, you pretty much got to pick your lifestyle and ride with it. It's tough. I mean, you don't see a lot of, I mean, there are a couple people out there that own insurance companies that are doing good, getting in the racing side. You know, tradesmen, whether it be plumbers or HVAC techs, electricians, stuff like that.
Joey does the elevator stuff, but I mean, again, he has to still double check everything through his boss.
He's got a little bit he's got a little bit more flexible schedule than most people, and then he has his on-call weekends where he has to be in town, or he just has to not race that weekend. So it just you just have to pick and choose. So I mean, it's tough at times.
But we make it work.
Yeah.
It's a team effort.
So, all right. Well, if you got any questions or comments or concerns, whatever,
I feel like that kind of got like sad.
I think it's sad.
I feel like it was a little sad.
It's just reality.
It is reality's sad.
All right, we'll see you guys on the next one.
We're going swimming. What are we gonna go do?
Swimming.
You can go swimming?
I'm going swimming and put my life jacket on and my goggles and my Bible and Crocs.
Do you want to show them your life jacket?
Yeah.
Go grab it.
And my goggles.
Whoa! That's so cool. Say, okay, we're gonna go swimming now.
Okay, we're going swimming now.
Say, make sure and like and subscribe.
Okay, be that and glide. You got this.